Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Student First, Athlete Second IG Live. I'm your host, David Watts. Thank you all for joining us for yet one other live episode. We're really happy that you're joining us, and we're really happy that you have been a faithful listener. For those that have been along for the ride, for those that are just tuning in. This is a weekly show. It's a weekly show that I put on every week. We help inspire, inform, and motivate young student athletes. We've had a variety of guests, from high school student athletes to college student athletes to current and former professional athletes. We've had folks that are professional careers in student athlete development, wellness, coaching. It's just something that I really am passionate about, sharing stories of failure and successes, hearing stories of failures and successes. So our guest today is going to be Mr. Aaron Plunkett. As soon as he taps in, we are going to be having him join us. So once of all, thank you for joining us. I see a lot of my folks on here. We really appreciate it. I see my girl from college, Jessica. I see you. I see my boy Nick Burley from high school. Shout out Fresno State. Andrew Franzino, I see you. For those who are unaware, there's another IG Live of a young man who attends St. Francis High School. The IG Live is called Ata Reacts. And trust me, guys, I need you to support him. This young man is following his dream. He's talking to great guests, so please give him a shout out, support him, and that'll be a good thing, okay? So I see our guest coming in, so he's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. There he is.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How's this lighting? You got me?
No, I got you, man. I appreciate you joining the show, man. It's been a long time since I've seen you. I know you're doing the family thing, man. Let folks know where you're tapping in from.
I'm in LA. I'm trying to give us some more light in here, man. I don't know if this is gonna help any, but I'm actually in Glendale, California, so I'm not far from downtown Los Angeles.
Okay, all right. Well, man, before we get started, I want to go over the promo and read your bio. So give me just a second and we'll get started. So thank you all for joining us. This is the first Athlete Second IG Live. This is a weekly show that we have to help inform, inspire, and motivate student athletes. We've got a ton of current and former student athletes, whether they be high school, professional. We have professionals who are involved in sports to share their stories, to talk about their careers, to help inspire our young people that are tuning in week in and week out. Today's guest, our featured guest, Mr. Aaron Plunkett, affectionately known as AP, to those that know him out here in LA. I think I hear a feedback, so you might want to turn that.
Are you got feedback?
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. Hold on. How's that?
Perfect. All right.
No feedback?
No, we're good.
All right.
We're good. Our featured guest.
Man, well, hey, thank you for having me on, man.
Let me finish.
I'm excited, man. It's been a minute. We haven't rapped in a minute, and you know it's good.
Hey, let me finish with the intro, man. I put some work into this one. Okay. He's affectionately known as AP. He's the founder and CEO of CLA Films and CLA Sports. He was born and raised in Northern California, was a multi-sport athlete, football, basketball, baseball, and track at Chico Senior High School for college. He attended UC Davis, where he played football for the Aggies. And what did you major in?
I had a double major in African American Studies and Sociology.
And there you have it. He was primarily based in Southern California currently. He's built a reputation of being the godfather of high school media mixtapes. Whether it's his partnerships with Pylon 7 on 7, his Southern Section CIF weekly show, or his countless other high school events across the country, such as the Honor Bowl, this young brother is making moves in the world of high school sports. Recently, with the legislation of the NIL bill, Mr. Plunkett and his CLA sports organization has built a niche in the name, image, and likeness, focusing on branding for high school student athletes. We're very excited for him to have him tell his story, talk about his career, and give valuable advice to young high school and collegiate student athletes. This young brother is somebody that I truly admire and respect. He's an entrepreneur, a visionary, and a true advocate for high school student athletes all over the country. Without further ado, I introduce to you Mr. Aaron Plunkett.
Hey man, thank you for having me. I appreciate you, and you're somebody who's always been involved in the term student athlete. You don't take that lightly. It's student first, right? Athlete second. That's exactly what it is for you. And so I just respect your role in helping young athletes realize what's going to take them far in life. And just to give you guys a little bit of background, with me and Dave, he ran a student athlete symposium. He did one at LMU and another one at USC, and I was involved both times years ago doing a social media breakout session. And this is in 2013?
Yeah.
I mean, it was early. So, anyways, we've known each other. We have a great history, and I'm just honored, to be on. So everybody, tuning in from Sports Recruits, I'm about to sit down with my boy David, Mr. Watts, and chop it up. So if you want to tune in. My name is AP. I founded CLA Sports, CLA Films, as David alluded to. But yeah, man, I'm here, and I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever you got, man.
Well, man,
I got some coffee.
This is special to me, man, because I think for a lot of people that know of you, that have worked with you, this, that, and the other, you're the one that's doing the interviewing. You're the one, but I think what folks don't get a chance to hear is folks don't get a chance to hear your story. Your story of grit, your story of just grinding, your story of being a student athlete, your story of failure, your story of success, this, that, and the other. So I said, man, you know what? When I was thinking about this show, I know that a lot of people know you and need to hear your story because it's motivating and it's inspiring. So with that being said, man, let's talk about the beginning. Let's talk about your upbringing, where you're from, and what city that raised you, your experience as a student athlete. Let's go from the very beginning.
Man, so I was born in the Bay, born in San Jose, and, my grandparents are from the Bay Area, going back on my dad's side. My other grandparents are from the South, from Texas and Louisiana, and they moved to California in the 60s. So my mom's side was in Cali, up north of Sacramento. And my dad's side is in the Bay. So born in the Bay, and parents, met out of high school sweethearts, had some kids early. And, that was me and my brother, my older brother. So spent a lot of time up in Northern California early on, living with my mother. So we stayed with my mom, my older brother, and I, and grew up in Chico, California. So everybody knows Chico because of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, he went to Butte College, the junior college. So Aaron Rodgers actually went to my rival high school, which was Pleasant Valley High School. I was at Chico High. He was a few years younger. But yeah, so I grew up, Northern California, born and raised, spent some time in, real Northern California, up in Chico, which is a lot different. People don't understand. And in the Bay. So I was back and forth and got the best of both worlds, man. I could do the small town thing, and I could do, and I could do it in any city. So, I feel like I'm blessed that way, man. Some people go back to a smaller town and, after one day, it feels like a month to them. After one day and it slows down for me, I'm kind of, I'm relieved. You know what I mean? Sometimes I want it to slow down. So
No, that's good, man. That's
it
good.
doesn't slow down in LA. It never slows down in
It
LA.
does not slow down.
Ever.
Man,
Ever.
talk about your experience as a student athlete growing up. I know I had mentioned you had played 4 sports in high school. You did your thing. Talk about that. I mean, I love hearing young people, and older guys when they talk about their experience of playing multiple sports. Was that something you always had a passion doing? Because nowadays, man, all these young student athletes are specializing in sports, one sport. And I don't know how I feel about it, but what's your thoughts?
Man, I wanted to win at stuff. Like, I think like that's like a mentality. It sounds like simple. I'll put it simple. I just wanted to win at stuff. So when I was at recess growing up, and I think maybe it stems from having a lot of cousins and brothers and, close family members, all my age, all around. We were always out, man, and we were out shooting at my grandma's house on a dirt road, racing barefoot. You know what I mean? Like I was, no shoes. We were out there. It was kind of country up there, and my grandparents are from the country because they're from Texas and Louisiana. So all they did was move to California and found some more country. You know what I mean? Found them, another dirt road to live on, So this is a dirt road in every state. Everything's California is just the beaches and LA and Hollywood. And man, California is, there's a lot of agriculture. And if it's not LA or some of the bigger cities in between, it's, grapes and vineyards and farmland. And people don't understand that, David, but you get it, man. So anyways, I grew up competing and always wanting to win because I had an older brother who used to whoop my ass, like whether we were fighting or we were racing or we were whatever, so I just wanted to win. I remember, I think I found some little pendants the other day and ribbons from cross country. And I'm like, man, I ran cross country. Like for what, I think my uncle has a video from like must have been the late 80s or very early 90s. And man, I just wanted to win. I ran cross country. I did track and field. I loved baseball, basketball. Basketball was probably my worst sport. So look, if you ever see me hoop, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to say it right now. Like, you could clown it, whatever, but I'm not a hooper. But I made the varsity hoop team, you know what I mean? So like, I made the team, I was good at it, but I'm not a hooper, man. Hoop is different. I got respect for hoopers. I was at the Sierra Canyon game last night, actually. Sierra Canyon, against Birmingham. But anyways, I was just a competitor. So what drove me to play every sport is like, shit, I just wanted to play them all. And I just happened to be, decent at all of them, whatever ball or anything I picked up, like I was solid. So I like to play, if you're good at something, you like to do it, you know what I mean? And that's what it was. So yeah, man, as a youngster, I was a competitor, as an athlete.
That's what's up, man. I mean, I think a lot of us grew up that way in the 80s and 90s and, like hearing a lot of young people specialize in sports, man. Nowadays, it's like, man, I feel like a lot of young people are cheating their experiences. And I feel like a lot of youngsters are like possibly going to burn out because they're playing their sport all year round. But that's neither here nor there. Talk about your experience, man, at UC Davis, man. You know what I'm saying? Talk about that. I mean,
I'll talk. Okay, just real quick before the Davis experience, I think that the reason why our generation and the generations right around there played every sport is because look at who the most marketable athlete was or athletes were at that time. The most popular athletes in the world, you know what I'm saying? Definitely in the US were Bo Jackson with Nike and like Deion Sanders. Bo played everything. His whole marketing campaign, Bo Knows, was like Bo was doing cycling and tennis and this. So it was cool to play everything back then. Deion played professional baseball and football. So I think that it's they market the athletes different to these generations now because they realize, they want to create these great players in these individual sports, and maybe they create a better player if they just focus on one sport is what people think.
Yeah.
But what better players have there been than Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders?
Yeah. And don't forget, Jordan played baseball too. So
right, exactly, yeah. So man, at Davis, it was cool, man. I got to play college football. You know what I mean? It was that was just the blessing in its own right. And not only that, I got to go to college, so I was, first generation college student in my family. So, I got to go to college and, got my education paid for and was at a good school and, was just juiced to have the experience. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope. Man, the college experience, people sit back and say, oh man, you got to play, college sports. You got to play college sports. And when you're looking at it from the outside looking in, you're thinking, oh, college sports, man, practice, maybe some game film, playing in the stadium, traveling. But it's all the other experiences that I remember a lot more. Going to practice every day, watching film every day, like those were routines. And the routine things you don't always remember. I remember a few film sessions where somebody did something funny or something jogged my mind, but like I remember the college experience more. I remember going to like a party with my friends, you know what I mean? I remember us going right after finals and going to Tahoe and going, snowboarding or hitting the slopes or doing something cool for spring break or houseboats in Shasta. Like if you go to UC Davis and you don't go to houseboats Memorial Day weekend at Lake Shasta, you're missing out. So it's like, it's not Havasu, but houseboats at Lake Shasta on Memorial Day is like a tradition at Davis, man. And so I remember the college experience more than just like playing sports in college. I do remember the games and traveling and having fun. Don't get me wrong. That was a bulk of my experience and it was, it was amazing. But I think people need the college experience, and people say, oh, what's college? Nowadays they want to say, why do I need a degree? I don't need a degree to get a job. I don't need this. Why should I go and get a degree and be in debt and this and that and the other, man? Well, first of all, you can put yourself in position not to have to go in debt going to college if you apply for grants and have great academics and qualify for certain things. People are giving away free money, for you to go to school. Not only that, if you can parlay it with sports, because we're obviously all into sports on this whole, this whole thing is talking about student athletes, right? We're sports recruits. So, leveraging sports to get to college is amazing, so I just feel like my experience in college, was worth its weight in gold, regardless of the degree, because it just taught me how to be a young man. It taught me responsibility. For the first time ever, I got to choose whether or not I went to class. In college, people don't realize it. You can choose whether or not you go to class. They don't send your parents a note saying you missed class. You know what I mean? I'm sure, look, some schools, maybe they have, a little bit more strict requirements, and they do a check-in for the athletes, but if you're getting your grades right and you have a 3.0, you know what I mean, and you're solid in college, they're not going to bother you. And check it. If you can do well on the tests and score well and do your assignments and not have to go to class every time, shoot, don't go. You know what I mean? It's your choice. But college taught me so much about interacting with other people, about being around successful people, being around people that have goals. So, the college, that was my UC Davis experience, man, was I was around on the football team and academically, my peers. I was around people who wanted to be successful, and it's not easy to get into a UC, so, that was it. So, and, and one of my things that I could hang my hat on always is, I got accepted to UCLA. I was going to go to UCLA and walk on. Davis recruited me, so I went to Davis. It's a UC. But, I applied, and because I, for whatever reason, did well enough in high school to get accepted to UCLA, that's something I can hang my hat on, as an accomplishment. And, for other guys, you're going to go to Ivy League school. You can hang your hat on that for the rest of your life. A lot of these young guys are going Ivy League, and why not, So the college experience with sports was great. But yeah, that's how I would sum it up, man.
Man, I echo everything you said, man, about the experience of being able to grow up, of being able to meet people, of being able to be challenged. You're oftentimes introduced to different cultures and different ideas. I know I myself went to Cal, not too far away from you, out there in Davis. But man, just being away from home for the first time, I can be honest, man, it was the best time of my life. And I'm 40 plus now. I wish I could go back and do it again, have some eligibility left, this, that, and the other. But nonetheless, I really do think as young people, all you folks listening, it's it might be a lot of work to get into college, but the applications, the admissions, this, that, and the other, it's well worth it. So putting in that work, getting good grades, going to office hours, doing everything you need to do to be a good student, to stay clean, stay out of trouble. Trust me when I tell you, and Mr. Plunkett has told you as well, it is well worth it, well worth it. So, man, talk to us a little bit about, man, your journey, man. Talk to us a little bit about how you got started in this sports media business. I mean, let's just be honest. It really wasn't that big at the high school level when we were growing up. So, this is where your visionary, status comes in, where I see you as somebody that came in as sort of a pioneer in this field, saw a need and created a need and filled in that hole. Talk to us a little bit about that.
It was, I had a younger brother growing up, and he was, 8 years younger than me, around, and I wanted him to succeed and to make it. And it was around 2006, 2007, I realized I could, take some video of his games and, do some highlights and hopefully, get him out there. So, I did a lot of his high school stuff every time I could make it up, at least. I got his tapes from his high school coach. So I got all the videos from the high school coach on a CD and, did iMovie or something like that and made his high school highlights. It's 2007, maybe 2006. The videos are on YouTube. You could find them. So I think the first time I uploaded a video to YouTube was probably 2006, 2007. Younger brother ended up going to junior college to hoop. Same junior college Aaron Rodgers went to Butte College. So my little brother was hooping at Butte, and he was balling. And this was a few years later now, going on 08, 09, around then. So he's balling at Butte, and I have this idea in my mind because I made his videos, because I saw, how basketball recruiting videos were taking off. Mm-hmm. But in 06, 07, nobody was doing football videos. Yeah. Back then, I think Ball is Life had started up right around then or right before. There's a company called Hoop Mixtape. So I saw a lane that was wide open with football. And I told myself, how can I offer this service to other student athletes like my little brother and like the Aaron Rodgers of the world who had to go to a junior college to get noticed, to get out? How could I even the playing field between people in areas where you can't get recruited and you know what I mean, and the people who are in the LA of the Southern California, this, that. So long story short, I built a recruiting website called CLA, called collegelevelathletes.com. Younger brother was hooping at Butte, got his highlight videos on CLA. The concept of CLA was if you had a YouTube video, you can make a free recruiting profile. So any kid can make a free recruiting profile. So I did it for my younger brother as kind of the test subject, of here, let me put this recruit out there. And he got a scholarship. and the coaches said that they saw his video on CLA. So younger brother ended up hooping at Dixie State in Utah, and then played in the Drew League for years in the Drew, and now he's a basketball trainer full time. That's what he lives in LA still, but just trains kids for hoop, and that's what he does for a living. Parlayed his athletic career into a job. He made his own lane, and so anyways, that's how it started with the recruiting platform that we built, and then after that, it was only natural. If we're, if we have a site where you can have a YouTube video and make a profile, okay, well, we're going out and let's go out and film games now. Let's film kids. Let's do interviews with the guys. Let's talk about recruiting. And that was how I got in, man. There's a website called wearesc.com, spelled out just like that, wearesc. And RIP to my man Gary Paskowitz, but my man Gary Paskowitz is the one who put me on. So I started going out. I went on the computer and found him. You know what I'm saying? Was Googling and found this USC recruiting website, and I'm in LA. So I think I messaged Gary or sent him an email, and he started telling me, "Hey, can you go to this game and get some footage? Go to this game. So I would go to these games and just do a little mix and upload it to YouTube, and Gary would embed the videos in his recruiting articles because, the content I was getting for him was helping him.
Yeah.
And this is 2009, people weren't saying the word content even. Content creator wasn't even a thing. I laugh when I laugh when I hear, oh, I'm a content creator, but I mean, I'm going to show you a content. Can I show you a content creator? Hold on. This is just a few, but I probably have some more laying around somewhere. So, like, this is one hard drive. This is another hard drive. That's another hard drive. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. That's another one. That's four more.
Wow.
I mean, people talk about content creators, but like, I mean, I have, I have more content sitting right here over the years that I've done this than like, people would even know what to do with. So, I like to call it the vault. So in the vault, there's a lot, man. And that's just, the nature of what we've done. I've been very strategic about everything, and not, look, you can be you and you can be a personality in this business of media, but I've always just made it about the platform, right? And not, yeah, okay, I'm the face of sports recruits or CLA, and that's, you have to have somebody, in a position like that. But, I've never made it, about me like that. And, it's about getting this content and leveraging it to help these kids get recruited. So, and just luckily for us, we got in the game at a time where we were the first at the table. So, these days we're able to leverage our content creation for companies and clients that we work with, you know what I'm saying? And make a living. So, it's just a matter of, putting in 10 years of work, so when you want to be a content creator, just realize this, if you want to be a content creator, we didn't start getting paid for creating content until, man, we had been in the game at least 5 or 6 years. So at least 5 or 6 years. So we were funding all the content we were creating. We were funding and paying our video staff, tens of thousands of dollars to get out there. And we were funding that through our apparel brand. So we used to have an apparel brand. And so we were just paying to get all this stuff done. We weren't getting paid to do it. We weren't able to start doing that until we built up our platform and were able to do it. So, there's power in a platform. So, when people work with us, it's different than just, swimming out there by yourself. And we've been able to build a great team, man. But
man,
yeah, so
man, thank you for sharing that story, man, and highlighting the fact that, like, it wasn't all gold and roses from the very beginning. Like, y'all had to put in the work and grind, and that's actually where I had met you at USC at a game. I think it was probably 2013, 2014, but I had been aware of your work because I was just, I was seeing it online and things of that nature. But for those that
I remember that conversation.
yeah. For those that don't know, you and your staff, man, y'all hit the pavement running, man. Like, multiple games, multiple sports, and it's just, I respect the grind, bro. I really do. From afar, can you share the story? Like, hopefully you can, but share the story how, like, at the very beginning, in terms of like the press passes, how like you had to manipulate and finesse your way in. I mean, I think that's very creative.
Yeah, man. I come from the era of the Bay Area 90s, hustler mentality, E40, Too Short, selling tapes out the trunk. You know what I mean? You're going to get in and kind of finesse your way by any means possible. And I mean, even finesse, you know what I'm saying? I think we were saying finesse in the Bay in the 90s, you know what I mean? And if you had that, it was the gift of gab is what they call it, So I remember telling my partner Danny all the time, like, just act like you're supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Danny would be all timid and scared to go to a game, and I'm like, man, just act like you're supposed to be there. But anyways, I would print little pieces of paper, with the logo on it this big, and just fold it into a perfect rectangle and slide it into like a lanyard, a little clear, lanyard, and it would say Team CLA Media Pass and have our name on it. And, it looked legit. So if you're a security guard at a high school game and you see somebody with a pass in a lanyard that says media and they're holding a camera, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to give that person a hard time, and then we just started showing up enough to where, like at Sarah, till this day, I go to Sarah on the sideline and it's like it's like a family reunion every time I go to Sarah, because in 2009, I was going to Sarah. Well, the same guys who worked the gate that let people onto the field in 2009 are the same guys now. The same coaches, Coach Altenberg and some of his staff, it's the same staff at Sarah. It's some of the same administrators. So I've been seeing these people for 12 years going on. So when I get to the field, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a different feeling, it's just, like I said, it's really like family, so getting back on the sideline after COVID, my first game back was Sarah against Long Beach Poly. And I didn't realize how it was going to hit me. But when I got to the Sarah sideline and started dapping everyone up, and you know what I mean? And just, it just felt like, I was back to what I was supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, it's a trip, the world of content creation these days. But I'll tell you what, as a content creator, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Put anybody down. I'm not going to, say anybody, it's bad. That people are doing this, but just make it about the kids. If you're creating content, make it about the guys. You know what I mean? Don't make it about yourself, and it'll be great. The outcome will be great. Just make it about the guys. That's it. And if hype videos is your lane, cool. You know what I mean? Our lane is recruiting videos, and that we're sports recruits. So we've approached it from that manner, just getting guys noticed by colleges, and leveraging our relationship with hopefully the colleges that, really watch our videos, and just helping guys out, man. That's it.
No, man, like you said it, relationships, man. And I think it's so important. I think I posted something on my social media the other day. It's like, your network can get you into doors that your college degree can't. And I'm sure you can attest to the fact that, like, the relationship that you built over the years, not only with players, but with coaches, college coaches, high school coaches, is something that, like, you're connected, man. So can you talk a little bit about some of the relationships that you've established with some of these high school kids that are now pro or now in college, big time guys? I mean, it must be really cool to see them when they're 15, 16, 17 years old, and to now see guys like a Dory Jackson like doing his thing, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those things, man, where it's just like life, right? So in life, you end up having friends and gravitating towards certain people, right? Like when you went to college or when you were in high school, certain people just became your friends and you became cool with them because you shared a vibe, you know, like you had the similar energy, right? And that's what it's been like with this whole process. Like, trust me, I'm a lot closer to certain coaches than I am to others because we have the same wavelength. You know what I mean? We're on we have a, just like with normal people in your lives who become your friends. So, you know, I've become closer with certain players over the years just because, like, we got the same vibe. And that's not to say, I don't mess with somebody else but like you vibe with certain people. And at the end of the day, like when it comes to athletes, we fool with whoever fools with us.
Yeah.
If you mess with us, we mess with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not one of those things like, oh, well, if you mess with us first, then we mess with you. No, like when we go to the games, man, if you make a play, it's getting put on. If you're a starter and you make and you moss somebody, it's going on. If you moss somebody so dirty, but you don't ever have the chance of playing in college, that video's still going on. You know what I mean? We're putting it on if you're making a play. I don't care who it is. And that's how we treat every experience out there when we're shooting is that whatever we did with that play, you know, we helped create a memory for not only the player, but for him and his family. You know what I mean? And now that I'm, you know, older, what are some of my best memories as a youngster? You know, playing ball in high school. Yeah. I wish I had some more videos. You know what I mean? I wish I had some more clips, man. I wish I had all these hard drives right here that were full of my stuff. So, you know, it's yeah, man. That's what I would say. That's what I would say it is.
No, man, that's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, ever since you started talking, sharing your story, you could sort of see the passion come out when you're storytelling of your origins, man, of how it all came about, this, that, and the other. I mean, one of the things that I want to specialize and talk about and sort of highlight on this IG Live is the fact that, like, the ball's going to stop bouncing at some point, right? The whistle's going to stop blowing. The light's going to go off. The applause is going to go. And to sort of talk about and highlight entrepreneurship. And I was just wondering if you could just talk a little bit about, like, the benefits of it and how a young person in today's society, whether they're content creating or providing services, why is it important for young people to start now rather than wait till they're a budding adult, graduate from college?
Right. So, you know, I have never had this thought until now, but I would say this. You know, it's like being an athlete. You know, if you're going to commit to being an athlete, you know, make sure that at least, like, you've got the tools to do it. You know, it doesn't matter if you play JUCO, NAIA, or whatever, but just make sure you have the tools to be a high level, you know, person. And it's the same with, you know, people wanting to go into content creation or entrepreneurship. You know, just make sure that you have a mind for that. You know what I mean? Make sure that you have a passion and a desire for that. Don't just do it because you don't want to have a job and you don't want to have to work for nobody. You know, do it if you're great, because you're only going to survive at it if you're great.
Yeah. Because
everyone else is trying to get into that field too. So it's not just about content creation, but it's about any field, right? If you're great, do it. If you're not, you know, choose something else. Find something else that you're great at and then do that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's I would say just, you know, for those who want to be entrepreneurs and want to work for themselves and want to have their own, you know, their own business, just study people who already have their own business. You know what I mean? Study people who are already entrepreneurs, obviously, COVID's over, but go to a local mom and pop shop, a little restaurant, somebody who is a small business owner, and talk to them about their experience in it. Because, David, you're right. You should start getting into something early on if it's something you think you want to do, as a career and focus on. So I would advise, just getting mentors who are in those fields, because as a high school kid, you want the experience and you want to have fun and play sports and do, and do your thing. And, if you take away the fun part, what's life, right? So, just get a mentor, don't go crazy on how you need to be a successful business person while you're in high school. But as long as you have some guidance there, my advice would be to just seek the guidance and then figure out what you can major in college. Yeah. That's the biggest part of it. If you want to be an entrepreneur, figure out each major that would, result in you becoming the most successful entrepreneur possible. It doesn't have to be business. It doesn't have to be a business degree for you to be an entrepreneur. So there's just a lot of different lanes that you could get into. And I just, hopefully we figure out something here soon with me and you, man, where we have some sort of summit or do some sort of thing on student athletes with entrepreneurship, because I think it's a great route to go on. But again, only if you're built for it.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Like, asking questions, finding mentors in multiple lanes is something that's so valuable, like having a mentor, athletics, having a mentor socially, having a mentor with like career, this, that, and the other. It's so, so important. Asking other people who've done it and been there before you so you can learn from their successes, but more importantly, learn from their failures so you don't have to repeat those failures yourself. So that's so, so big, man. Transitioning into like current day high school sports, man. I mean, like, I see it. It's become lightweight professionalized, man, with all the social media, this and the other. Where do you see high school sports in 10 years, man? I mean, is it going to be a situation where these really good players aren't necessarily going to be playing for their high school teams and going to be, focusing on club teams like it is in certain sports? Or where do you see this high school? It's become a big business with, the IMG schools, and that's not to mention the gap and the divide. I think we talked about this earlier with public and private. Like, where's this going? What do you foresee in the future with high school sports?
And I think that, not to say that you're wrong, but you say, what it's become, right? Like, but we all know, because we've been in it, it's been this for 20 years, social media and the ability to get your message out to a wider audience in a single keystroke, right, has just put it under more of a magnifying glass. Like, remember who was it? SMU. They had the ban, right? They got banned. Remember, SMU had the ban. People don't understand. SMU won the national championship in like 82 and 83, back-to-back national championships at SMU. And then they found out that the boosters were paying the players. And, they were paying them cash. They were cashing them out. So, back in the day, it used to happen too. There was just no social media. Right. But right. It's been that. And the thing that I think has raised it, though, the most is that each individual, within the institution of sports on the side of the athletes is now a billboard of their own, right? Each one of them is now a billboard of their own. So it's taken sports to new heights, right? Because so many more people are paying attention now, right? Because every individual is a billboard, right? So, I think in that regard, it was only a matter of time before, they changed the laws, because it's advertising and marketing. What is it? It's a numbers game. That's all it's ever been. Mm-hmm. If you have a show on radio, it's how many listeners do you have? This is radio before TV even existed. You got paid based on how many listeners. TV, how many viewers, right? So, with social media, it's how many eyes are on your content, how many followers you have, how much engagement you have. It's the same exact thing that marketing and advertising has done for decades, but it's just in this box of social media, right? So it was only a matter of time because people accumulated this social wealth, right? And the Kardashians started posting and getting paid $1 million per post. And all these people that's how it started. So I saw how it started. In 2009, from 2009 to 2012, I was working for a hair care company as a digital marketing manager. And it was my job to promote and build the social media channels for this company. I was behind the scenes. So I'm trying to build the Facebook, the Twitter, the this. And this was '09. I remember there was a girl from The Bachelorette, or one of those shows, The Bachelor or Bachelorette. And we wanted her, our PR and marketing department, to promote these products and to tweet about it because, this girl was on The Bachelor, right? So she had 45,000 followers or something like that. And her management company, they got back to us and they wanted 5Gs. So this is 2009. This lady off The Bachelorette wanted 5Gs for one tweet to 45,000 followers. So I'm thinking, like, 5Gs for a tweet? For one tweet? Because you got 45,000 followers. So I was in, you know what I mean? Like, I should have bought stock in Twitter or something because I was already in at that point. You can make this much money leveraging your social media. So I worked for that company for about 3 years, soaked up as much game as I could, from the digital marketing side of things. And that's when we created D1 Bound. And I quit that job and applied everything I learned there to my own business. And that's how I, chunk the deuce to the 9 to 5. To the 9 to 5 world, man. So that's how I exited the 9 to 5 world.
Hey, that right there, man, is to be able to take and have that foresight and have that vision. We talked about that, man. You a visionary, man. Seeing that eventually this stuff is about to pop off. So this is a great segue into the NIL, right? The legislation bill that's coming out soon, if not hasn't already. Talk to us a little bit about what it is, and then also talk to us about how CLA is helping young student athletes with their branding, because this is a very big deal.
Yeah, NIL is huge. It's name, image, and likeness. And, we started a company in May of 2020 to start helping, high school players build their name, image, and likeness so that when you get to college, you can take advantage of it. And, we have, and we've kind of put it on hiatus, but we have, we were running a show called The Show LA, a high school football show. And, we were talking about NIL on that, a few seasons ago, because that was when California passed their law. But I just look at it as a way for student athletes now to get creative on and figuring out some different avenues, that they can make some money. And, it's one of those things where a certain amount of people will be able to make money off of signing autographs and making appearances. Maybe, a handful of people, the Trevor Lawrences of the world, Justin Fields of the world, right? But that's not really what the business is about. It's going to be about the average student athlete being able to leverage themselves to create opportunities, right? So that could be something as simple as, what my little brother does for a career. My younger brother is a basketball trainer. Well, he could have been a freshman in college and started working as a basketball trainer if this rule would have passed while he was in school. If you're a student athlete now, you can't even work as a trainer and get paid for it because it's using your likeness to make money, from your sport. So, there's going to be very, very simple ways for athletes to leverage. But I just think that people are going to have to be smart about it. And the great thing about the young people too is the youngsters, they're going to realize when something isn't beneficial for them in with this name, image, likeness. Because all the young athletes out there, you grew up, they grew up on social media, they grew up on Instagram, they grew up on Twitter. So, they know, what's what. So it'll be interesting to see who pops up in this business. But I feel like we have a good approach to it. I think we have a great approach to it, and I just can't wait to help some of these guys, really build their brands, man, because we've done it for the high school kids already. We've had a program for the last year, and starting July 1st, we're going to be able to do it for the college guys, and we've launched our website already, where college players can sign up and just give us their info, so that we can get back to them once the law passes, and it'll be interesting, man. It's almost like this is what my career was coming to, you know what I mean? From the beginning, like
Yeah.
I couldn't have mapped out me having a better road to get to the NIL era, than the road that I had naturally with having an apparel brand and running it for 4 years, and selling gear, in all 50 states, to, leveraging our platform for marketing, to having partnerships with the Army Bowl and the Polynesian Bowl, and doing a Dollar Shave Club partnership, with $1 billion, company, and doing these different things that have kind of led to this NIL stuff. So I'm excited about it, man. I am. I think there's going to be a lot of happy kids out there too, man, who are going to be able to go back to school after their break with, some money.
Yeah.
So,
no, man,
but yeah,
it's I can remember being in college and playing. I was never into video games. I never had them, but all my teammates talking about, oh man, they're using our likeness on video games and Madden and this, that, and the other. But to be able to reap the benefits of that, some more than others. Man, it truly is a beautiful thing. I just hope that it's sanctioned in a way where kids aren't punished for doing things that they didn't know were wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just hope that there's kids aren't taken advantage of. I just hope kids aren't being set as an example when they had no control and they didn't know. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for.
Right. Yeah, and I think, that being said, anybody who's going to go into any sort of deal with name, image, likeness, you're really going to have, make sure that you have a great relationship and understanding of whoever that is that you're going into this, a business deal with, and don't just trust anybody trying to do it, because some people might end up messing up your eligibility. And I think that's what Dave is speaking to. Some people are going to be the guinea pigs and do something wrong and screw themselves up because they didn't know. But, we all know with the NCAA, you can't say I didn't know. The argument doesn't work. So
Indeed. Well, man, we're gonna head into the overtime section of the live, man. This is just a section where no deep explanation is needed. Just kind of give your first thought. So, first question is, most dominant athlete you've ever covered in high school sports, regardless of sport, doesn't matter.
Dominant?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I would say Joe Mixon.
Yeah, Bay Area boy out of what was it, Antioch?
Freedom.
Oh, Freedom.
Freedom.
Oh, that's right. And then he ended up going to Oklahoma.
Yep, and now he's with the Bengals.
Yeah. And then after him, we all know who came after him with Najee. So they got that pipeline over there. Hopefully that continues to happen. Because truth be told, man, I'm hearing a lot like, man, these Bay Area, like these colleges aren't recruiting the Bay Area. What do you think that's all about?
I think it's because they don't need to, because they can go to LA and find all the players they need to fill their rosters, right? And it's like, I don't think it's to say that the Bay Area doesn't have good players, because the Bay Area has great players that deserve to go. But if a school, and especially a school from out of state, right, can come to California and just go to Southern California and do the loop from the IE to Orange County to LA, budget wise, they're more likely to do that loop only than to go up to the Bay Area. You know,
makes a lot
unfortunately.
of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Question number 2. I think you might have already referred to this one because you talked about your experience, but your favorite high school team to cover, whether it be players, coaches, just basically the administration. Is it safe to say that is Sarah Gardena is one of your favorites?
I think I have a lot of favorites. You know, really at this point, I do have a lot of favorites. And then I have favorite coaches, right? So like, Coach Pearson, who was at Cathedral when Bryce Young was at Cathedral before he went to Mater Dei. Coach Pearson's one of my favorites. And now he's at Warren High School.
Okay.
So okay. Coach Pearson had Bryce Young, and now he's got Nico, Iamaliava. So he's got 2 of the greatest quarterbacks, but Coach Pearson's a great guy. So no matter what school he goes to, I would follow him and support, so it's, I have a lot of favorites, man.
Good answer. If you could make one impacting change in high school sports all over the country, what would it be?
It would be, like a very, very impactful change.
Yeah.
Something crazy. 3.0, or you can't play.
Woo. Wow. Okay.
3.0, or you can't go.
Okay. Next question. Your dream interview with any athlete, dead or alive, and what would you ask? Any athlete, pro, college, professional, who would you want that interview to be, and what would you ask?
Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
And I would just ask, what it was, I would try to find out what it was in his pedigree and his DNA that made him, want to excel at everything. He played everything.
Yeah, he did.
And he was great at everything, so I look at it like people just think of him as a baseball player when you think Jackie Robinson, right? But he might have been the greatest athlete of all time.
You're right. One of Pasadena's finest.
Didn't he play everything at UCLA?
Huh?
Didn't he play it all at UCLA?
I think he played like 3 or 4 sports at UCLA with baseball, football, track. He was, exceptional.
Yeah.
Exceptional.
Jackie, man. Yeah, okay. That'd be dope.
All right. And last question for the overtime section is where do you see your career going in 5 years? What's your dream position?
5 years.
Let's speak it into existence from your lips to the Lord's ears, brother. Let's speak it.
5 years. I'm gonna be on vacation somewhere. And nobody's gonna know where I'm at because between now and the next 5 years, I'm gonna have created something so great that it's just gonna, make my family have no more, financial worries, and I'm gonna be out, man. You won't find me. You won't find me. I'll be gone somewhere, undisclosed.
Hey, you gonna be somewhere on the beach next to Snoop doing those Corona commercials or something, huh?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Okay. Well, man, this is
I think that should be in everyone's 5-year plan, by the way. That should be the end of everybody's 5-year plan.
When it's all said and done, when people hear your name, what do you want them to think about you?
That I was a genuine person. So, the same person you saw, because a lot of people, end up knowing me or seeing me through what I do as a career, on social media and whatnot, but that I'm a genuine person. So the person you see in the comments talking shit to other people who are talking shit, that's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm sorry. Look, that's me. Look, every once in a while, if I see it and if I got time today, I'm going to reply and say something back. And it's not personal. If I'm replying in the comments, man, and if I'm ever clowning somebody, it's not personal. So I just be myself. I would want people to say I've been a genuine person, whether they saw me on internet or in person, so that's
Indeed.
it.
Indeed. I love that, man. I love that. Our final moment, I do this with all the guests. This is your Grammy or Oscar moment where you just won the big prize, big trophy. You get on the stage, you pull out your sheet of paper out of your pocket, and this is your moment to thank the people that are bit down with you. This is your moment to give the people the roses while they're living, to let folks know what organizations you're working with, this, that, and the other. This is just your time, bro. I've given you the mic. It's your Oscar or Grammy moment. There you have it.
Look, it's going to be simple, really. The people who have supported me and really been there for me, you know who you are. The people who haven't, I just hope that you have somebody that you are there for and that you do support. Because I'm not going to say, to my haters. No, if you haven't supported my journey and my dreams, I hope you're supporting somebody else's.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we all need at the end of the day. Because I'm thankful for every single person, whether we've had one conversation or 5 conversations, or we've known each other for 10 years, each one of those instances is somebody supporting my journey, and I love that, and not everybody supports your journey, but those that don't, I hope they're supporting somebody.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Well, man, I know you're busy. I know you got a family, this, that, and the other. I appreciate your time. And like we talked about, we're going to do something, man. And we're going to do something for the betterment of the student-athlete community. And hopefully we'll be able to do this and put this on the road where we can go to Louisville, Kentucky, go to Chicago, Illinois, and this, that, and the other.
They ain't ready for us, man. They ain't ready. Look, they ain't ready for us, man. Come on. I mean, we just, we're going to bring love. So, no, I appreciate you. Much love. I'm actually surprised my kids haven't banged on the door to my office right here. Because usually they'll be at the door like, Dad, just let me in. Come on, Dad, just let me in. So, man, and I always got to let him in. I always let him in. So, even if it's locked, man. So,
all
yeah.
Good.
So.
Well, man, hey.
Yeah. All right, Dave. I appreciate you, man. Much love.
Much love. I appreciate you. And we're going to connect next week when I get back into town.
Hundo. All right.
Thank
Peace.
You,
hey, appreciate you guys tuning in, man. One love.
One love. There you have it, folks. There you have it. We have our high school media pioneer brand specialist out of CLA Sports, Mr. Aaron Plunkett. Thank you all for joining us today, as well as the previous weeks. Just know that today was our 25th episode. We started this on January 1st, or the first week of January. Today was our 25th episode. So all the episodes can be seen on IGTV. So we really appreciate your support. Every Wednesday, same handle, same time, okay? 5 p.m. at David Watts Consulting. Next week, we're going to be having 15-year NFL veteran, Mr. Lorenzo Alexander. All right, he's going to be talking about his story of coming out of Oakland, California, being an undrafted free agent, this, that, and the other, and playing 15 years in the NFL. He's going to be talking about his nonprofit organization and what he's doing now and how he's helping his community. So please tune in for that, because I know Zoe is somebody that I truly respect as well, and he's going to be dropping that fire and offering great advice for student athletes. So look forward to seeing you guys next week as well. So once again, student first, athlete second, IG Live. We're here to inform, inspire, and motivate. All right. Our whole goal is to be able to share stories that are going to help student athletes, parents, coaches, school administrators, from learn from other people's failures and their successes. So we thank you for joining us. Join us next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Always remember, student first, athlete second.